Good morning. Hello, everyone. Happy Thursday. Today is day 4 of our 7-day challenge. And I apologize, although I don't really, because I'm sitting here still in my workout gear and sweating gross, and you usually don't do that, but that just happens. Because it's already 10 o'clock and I said I'd come live. So what I wanted to share today was about celebrating small wins. We talked over the last few days of finding emotional intelligence, as in connecting with our own understanding of what's heavy, what's not heavy, what feels good, what doesn't feel good. And then yesterday it was really truly reflecting on each of those pieces. Like what's our dominant feeling throughout the day? What are the things that show up, or like when things challenge us, what are the things that are, what's the feeling that comes up that we use as like our dominant safe house, basically, of that it's our go-to, right? So these are the things that we kind of learn to, that are created throughout patterns and programs. And one of the things I wanted to talk about too today was the patterns and programs. And again, even just me showing up like this was a pattern or program. There is this I've been uncovering, and this is one of the things I do. For those that don't know me super well, I create spaces for people. I hold space for people. And if you're asking what is holding space, it's just allowing you to be vulnerable in your space, like and having safety and security to express, to understand yourself better. And I have people that do this for me, and I also know what is needed. So I do this for others, because this is where the transformation truly happens, when we sit in the discomfort. And like I said, even me showing up here like this is discomfort for me, because it's not something I usually would do. But this is what I do. Everything I speak and I share, this is what I live as well. I sit in the discomfort because this is where the growth is. This is where the awareness is. The awareness itself is what we're bringing in order to grow and to expand and to become the version of ourselves we're truly meant to be, to let go of some of the patterns of programs like we talked about, but also to not just about letting go of the patterns of programs, but to develop into, release the layers of things that we've accumulated to become the version of ourselves we are truly meant to be. People talk about the higher self or the future self. That is not it. I could tell you from my own experience, that is not it. And you could say, oh, blah, 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 blah. But we come here as the most perfect form of ourselves ever. And then we live our life, and society, and no judgment against people that we're aware of, but like our environment, so our parents, our families, friends, our school, our work, all give us these conformants, give us these limitations of who we are supposed to be. And through all of that experience, we then create this identity of ourselves that we think we should be, the one that is supposed to perform, the one that is supposed to show up, the one that is, and you're getting some of this was not planned, but some of this has come through that I need to share. So just over the last day, because I've been doing some identity work for myself over the last 3 weeks, and it has been hard, difficult. Like I said, I live this stuff. I don't just like talk about it in fluff. I actually like totally, I do this every day, or almost every day. Life happens, it's still busy, but I try to do this work every day. And the more we become that, because what we're doing is we're peeling back the layers. We're removing these old patterns, these old programs that we're thought we were meant to be, we were taught we were meant to be. And when we start removing those things, we find the truest version of ourselves. We release the parts of ourselves that have been promising things that we are not truly. The parts of ourselves where we are performing. We are acting as somebody else, as somebody, whoever wants, what other people want us to think or to be, what society has told us, what our friends tell us we're being. You're always the one that's late. You're always the one that you take all these identity pieces on. And then that becomes us when it's really not. We have this true version of ourselves. And this is what this week is all about. The 7 days is to uncover some of that for you, just to start the process. All of this is actually building up to an opportunity where you can work with, like I have a process that I'm walking through, and it's not here to be salesy. It's here to be, there is something that I've found that worked for me when other things have not. Not that they haven't worked for me, but actually I've taken all the pieces that have worked and compiled them all into like this beautiful process. And this is where, again, I hold space for people to have some of this awareness, because the thing is that I'm not there. That's what I mean by like, I'm not showing up like perfect, because I'm not there either all the time. We're not supposed to be. So it's like, how can I then show to you the authentic version of me if I'm always performing and pretending? So this is it. I'm fucking done. So yeah, there's that. This has kind of come through in the last little bit. So like I said, you're getting a side of me that most people normally don't see. So sorry. Not sorry. I'm not apologizing anymore, right? Or explaining or whatever. It's just, we need to show up and have space to understand ourselves, to understand our own emotions. We need to be aware of ourselves first. And then we start uncovering the patterns and the repeat things that we've created. And then we get to decide who we truly are. Once we uncover those things, once we become aware of those things, we get to then discover who we truly are underneath it all. And we get to decide if that's the version we want to stay and be, or we can stay and be that person that's pretending. We can stay and be that if we truly want to. But in order to create abundance, in order to live the life we're supposed to live, in order to have what we are desiring and seeking, it's about letting go of all of that stuff and stepping into who we're truly meant to be. So today, going back to today's task, was about celebrating the wins. And my whole story here and share was about me celebrating my win and the shift that's happened for me even today in doing this work. And so it's not just a little win, it's a huge win, but you need to celebrate all the wins, because when you celebrate the little wins, you start to see evidence. I was just talking to somebody else this morning, a colleague of mine, and she had mentioned about sometimes we don't see the signs. And because we're busy overthinking or thinking it should be something else, there's a different expectation we put on it. And so we don't pay attention to the sign. And then when we let go of that limitation of what we think it should be, because we're looking for something in particular, a number, an image or whatever, we miss the signs that are actually there all the time because we're limiting it to what we think it should be, what our expectation is. This is life. This is how we mostly live our life. So it's like, how can we let go of those things? And if we could just celebrate the win and the small things, we will see more of the bigger things. If we celebrate the win and recognizing a dime for a dime when it's in our path, and I'm saying that because the person I was speaking to, the dime was her sign. Dime was her sign. And it's like, when we just pay attention to the little things, we will see more of them. And we are opening ourselves up versus limiting ourselves to an expectation of what we think it should be. Anyway, today's challenge, celebrate the little things. And don't look at, like, there's a lot of us again in the overthinking space that are like, I need a sign, but then the sign isn't good enough. I need another sign. So let go of all of that. Celebrate the wins. Track the things that feel good. And celebrate the things that, like the first sign. And allow that to be truth. Trust yourself to be truth. Anyway, if that resonates with you, we need to chat more. Any of this. This has been an unfolding that has started a few weeks ago, and it's continuing to unfold. So it's part of my journey, and I'm sharing it with you. So anyway, have a beautiful day. Day 4. Again, I am doing a draw to have a session with me at the end of all this. So if you're following along, if you comment down on the posts, I'll do a draw at the end of it, the 7 days for a session. So anyway, have a beautiful day, and we will see you next time.